If you wish to completely transform your group of kind and loving friends at the bar into two raging warring factions, then by all means inquire, "Hey, which one is better, Friends or How I Met Your Mother?" A fun and furious discussion will surely ensue, but as much as I am partial towards freedom of expression, one of those groups will, unfortunately, be entirely and absolutely wrong. The answer is How I Met Your Mother. How I Met Your Mother is better than Friends. That's unfair, I hear you say. It is a matter of taste, and besides, Friends came first, and How I Met Your Mother outright copied several of its story threads. Yes, unlike a good Botox, I cannot argue with time. But on my side is Time's sidekick, quality. To illustrate, this cave painting of a hunter and his sticky, as in made of sticks, prey. It came before most paintings you'll find similarly featuring hunters, correct? I agree. Let us call this painting Friends, whereas How I Met Your Mother would be more akin to this. Peter Paul Rubens' The Hippopotamus and the Crocodile Hunt. Yes, it did come tens of thousands of years after that other painting, but look at how busy, alive, colorful, bold, and exhilarating it is. That's How I Met Your Mother.
What?
That is unfair. Like every single living creature on this earth, I repeatedly watched and greatly enjoyed Friends. It is not a cave painting. It is, say, Peter Brehold the Elder's Hunters in the Snow. What? Many consider this one of the greatest paintings of all time. Moving on. To properly explain why How I Met Your Mother is better than Friends, we must delve into an unexpected world of theory and abstraction. I, of course, mean the world of 1970s literary theory. Specifically speaking, Professor Edward Mendelssohn's description of the literary genre known as the encyclopedic narrative. The encyclopedic narrative is a type of book defined by its best... Guys, I'm on your side, just... okay? Okay, Mendelssohn identifies 7 books as encyclopedic narratives. Dante's Divine Comedy, François Rabelais' Gargantua and Pantagruel, Cervantes' Don Quixote, Goethe's Faust, Melville's Moby Dick, James Joyce's Ulysses, and Gravity's Rainbow by Living Recluse, Thomas Pynchon. He never shows up anywhere or allows photos, but he did cameo as himself in The Simpsons.
Here's your quote. Thomas Pynchon loved this book almost as much as he loves cameras. Hey, over here, have your picture taken with a reclusive author.
These are books that, besides telling their stories, also experiment with the infinite possible styles storytelling can have, because an encyclopedic narrative is an encyclopedia of narrative. Moby Dick has several scenes written as a play in Shakespearean fashion. Gargantua and Pantagruel has chapters in verse, dialogue, form, and whatever you can come up with. Each chapter of Ulysses is in a different genre, ranging from drama to crazy monologue to catechism to crazier monologue and an actual evolution of the English language. These books also contain attempts to describe an entire science and/or art. The Divine Comedy charts the universe from hell to the stars. Gravity's Rainbow has several discussions on advanced mathematics.
7.
And Moby Dick has extensive portions on cetology that baffle readers who just wanted a good old maritime novel.
I hate metaphors. That's why my favorite book is Moby Dick. No frou-frou symbolism, just a good simple tale about a man who hates an animal.
Barrels of sperm. Because these books want to catalog the entirety of human knowledge, they are also madly in love with lists. Don Quixote won't shut up about the laws of chivalry. Faust is a scholar who knows everything about everything. And Rabelais will catalog everything you can think about. I am not joking. From fun little games to reasons not to get married to the best objects to wipe your ass? It's a young goose. The best possible object to wipe your ass, according to Gargantua, is a young goose. In case you wanted to know. But Mr. Moviewise, I hear you say, you started out talking about some of the most popular sitcoms of all time. How did you end up in some obscure literary theory involving a bunch of denser-than-dense novels of excessively erudite pretension? Well, they're not all novels. The Divine Comedy is an epic poem and Faust is a tragic closet drama. Bet you're feeling really silly right now, huh? To begin,
check this out. Take a look at this! Jesus Christ!
This video is so far the best audiovisual representation of my typical internet browser tabs I have ever seen. Now let me get to where I am getting to. How I Met Your Mother is like these literary masterpieces.
No way!
Yes, it is an encyclopedic narrative. Bear with me. The recurring joke is that Ted takes so long to talk about that elusive title character. It's because he is busy experimenting with every possible way of telling a story. We have family drama, coming-of-age stories, rags to riches, tales of mystery such as the Pineapple Incident, a holy grail quest in search of the best burger in New York, poetry,
swirling in your mouth, breaking apart and combining again in a fugue of sweets and savories.
I'm not kidding, that description has true literary quality.
This is God speaking to us through food.
There are also telepathic conversations.
Can you imagine having a three-way with this creep? Yeah, right. You, me, and this guy naked going at it. Then he gets tired and it's just you and me going at it.
Stories within stories, retellings, metaphors. See how many different styles How I Met Your Mother plays with? Not convinced? Does Friends have an episode spoofing martial arts films? Does Friends have an episode where every single line of dialogue rhymes? With goddamned Hamilton?
No.
I thought not. Another thing. Have you ever noticed how often, not unlike an encyclopedic narrative, How I Met Your Mother literally explains sciences, systems, patterns, customs, and cultures?
You can always tell the difference between the singles and the couples. What's a woo girl? Let me explain. A woo girl is a type of young woman who, like the cuckoo bird or the whippoorwill, gets her name from the signature sound.
Is that Meadow Soprano? The series is so obsessed with numbers, there is an episode featuring a visual countdown throughout. Do you know what other piece of media did something like that? Friends? Please. Drowning by Numbers by mad art house genius Peter Greenaway. Can you guess what that director is fascinated with? Besides nudity? Lists.
3, 6, 9.
His films count and catalog non-stop. Do you know which famous book he adapted to TV? The Divine Comedy. And in a strangely encyclopedic documentary-like fashion. Getting back to How I Met Your Mother. The show's endless passion for explaining and cataloging its world leads us to its most important character, the glue that binds this far-fetched but sensible theory of mine together. The encyclopedic narrative frequently features a character who attempts to live in a different genre to the world that surrounds him. This is the very nature of Don Quixote trying to be a gallant wandering knight in a world devoid of poetry and nobleness. I, of course, mean Barney Stinson, player king of New York City. Barney Stinson is not simply a crowd-pleasing rake character causing laughs by breaking social conventions. He is a mathematician, an anthropologist.
Glad you asked. The cheerleader effect is when a group of women seems hot, but only as a group.
A scientist, a psychologist, a historian, a social engineer, a Renaissance man, and for many of us, an idol.
I'm gonna teach you how to live.
You already do, my friend. You already do. The genius seeking to turn everyday life into an awesome adventure against the desires of a non-awesome world.
Oh my God, can you just be cool? Once, please. Just once. Can you just once be cool? Once. Please.
As we all know, awesomeness comes from organized and easily accessible extensive sources of knowledge, which is why Barney wrote the Bro Code, an excessively exhaustive science presented in list form of proper male camaraderie precepts. His other book is the Playbook, a thorough art equally presented as a catalog of knowledge. Just stop and notice how much the man loves lists.
I woke up next to a conquest. So many great things about this girl. Her boobs, her rack, her chest. Private jet. Balderrama suite at the Bellagio. Steaks at Boa. Scotch at Ghost Bar. Bridesmaid paradox. Sorority girl syndrome. And for a brief window in the mid-90s, the Spice Girls conspiracy. Be no Girls Gone Wild. No bachelorette parties. No Las Vegas poolside bars. Neil Young, William Shatner, Leonard Cohen, Pamela Anderson, 1/4 of Barney Stinson, instant mashed potatoes, and best of all, you.
Even his bachelor pad, the Fortress of Barneytude, possesses a science of its own, built entirely for the seduction and abandonment of women. Unfortunately, because not even a genius can be good in everything, the Barnacle simply doesn't know how a Cartesian coordinate system works.
She'd shave her head, then lose 10 pounds.
Look, he moved her back on the crazy line, not up on the hot one as he should.
She'd stab me with a fork,
Now he moved her on both lines when he just meant the crazy one.
then get a boob job.
And now he made her less crazy instead of hotter. Again, come on, the whole point of this imaginary character is she never leaves the line. You're still awesome though. Anyway, one might think it's just a series of unlikely coincidences that make How I Met Your Mother similar to these classics of literature. But you and I, my awesome friend, we know that it is clearly not so because the show even mentions some of these books. Number 1. On Season 5, Episode 22, Robots vs. Wrestlers, Ted straight up quotes the Divine Comedy.
It's like that line from Dante's Inferno. Or, in the original Italian, Considerate la vostra semenza.
Twice.
Nel mezzo del cammin de nostra vita, mi ritrovai por una selva oscura, che la derita via.
Wait, he's talking about hell and now he's quoting right from the opening of Canto 1. They don't get to hell till the 3rd canto. Is he on his way to recite some 300 verses of 14th century Tuscan Italian? Number 2. Don Quixote is mentioned on Season 6, Episode 20, The Exploding Meatball Sub.
The main character is a young, spoiled prince thrust into leadership after the death of his father. It's obviously a modern-day retelling of Henry IV.
Are you kidding me? It's Don Quixote, the classic quest story with the hero jester and his long-suffering manservant.
Henry IV.
Henry IV.
He's not an 80s action franchise, Ted. He's a king. Henry the Fourth. Please. Number 3. In the second to last episode, Last Forever Part 1, Marshall and Lily dress up as Captain Ahab and... guess what? That's right, Moby Dick.
White whale, got it.
It's Moby Dick. Number 4. Here's Ted talking about Ulysses on Season 7, Episode 13, Tailgating.
It's funny, but it seems each time I read James Joyce's Ulysses, it's a different book. Begging the question, has the book changed? Or have I?
Wow. Even I think Ted is a douche. No, there are no references to Faust, Gargantua, and Pantagruel or Gravity's Rainbow. The last of which doesn't surprise me.
Gravity's Rainbow.
I haven't read it though.
Neither have I. Nobody has.
But come on, Faust. They never mention selling your soul to the devil. Hasn't Barney ever done it? And I must confess, I brute force searched every single episode subtitle file for the word Gargantuan, and it isn't uttered once in any of the 208 episodes.
Disappointed!
Still, it's no bingo, but 4 out of 7 books mentioned. Nice. Finally, we have the one remaining argument in favor of Friends. How I Met Your Mother's ending sucks, some say. O ye of little faith. As Professor Mendelssohn points, the encyclopedic narrative is marked by a love story which is never truly completed. Don Quixote does nothing but simp for Dulcinea, a woman who likely doesn't exist. Faust's Helen, yes, that Helen, fades away after their son dies, and his Gretchen is executed after she kills their newborn baby after he killed her brother and mother. Is Faust an asshole? And Dante, quote, unquote, Beatrice never wanted him and doesn't even have a body in the Divine Comedy. Ladies, can you imagine that creepy guy gawking at you from the corner, writing you as a perfect guide in paradise, and 700 years later you are still famous? Dante just might be the most talented simp in history. Since the mother is so briefly in the show, and Robin remains an unobtainable love interest, How I Met Your Mother fits perfectly with these titans of literature.
Does the white whale actually symbolize the unknowability and meaninglessness of human existence? No, that's just a fish.
Thank you for watching. Now tell me, which one do you think is the better show, and why is it How I Met Your Mother? If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and share it. I will see you next time, and this is MovieWise.